Welcome to the College Football Preview Show presented by Amazon Business. The long-awaited, highly anticipated 2024 college football season has arrived, and so too have we. We are back in Studio XA here in Bristol, Connecticut. Matt Sims, Skubie Mageza, I'm Sam Ravech. We are so grateful not only to be back with you, but we are grateful for football. Because football is back, guys. How are we feeling about the season?
I'm just glad to be useful again. You know, it's been a long off season, and I really wasn't sure what to say to anybody this whole off season. Everyone's just like, stop talking about football.
Right. Yeah.
But now I can.
Yeah. To my girlfriend and to all my loved ones,
salute.
Goodbye. Saturdays are no longer available for time spent.
That's right.
Yeah. Football season is here.
It is here.
Excited.
And also, we are doing our very first here on this show. We are doing a college football draft on this show. Here's what it's going to look like. It's going to be really fun. We're each going to draft 5 teams. Last team's going to be a sleeper. We'll explain that when we get there. It's going to be a snake draft. So for those who are unfamiliar, if you pick last in the first round, you'll pick first in the second round, and so on and so forth.
Just tell me what all right.
So last year on this show, we made game picks. Now, Skubie won, Matt was in second. I came in a very close third. Very close third. So Skubie's going to pick the order of the draft this year, Skubie.
All right. So they don't know what this order is.
We don't know.
And, you know, when I do fantasy football, I have less anxiety when I'm picking in the middle. You know, I kind of just like letting things fall over to me.
Okay.
So we're going with Matt going first. You get the first overall pick. I'll go in the middle.
I love it.
And then, Sam, you can get the back-to-back last pick in there.
Okay,
so I'm going to see what you guys do. I'll pick in the middle, second overall pick in the draft.
Okay, very good.
Yeah, appreciate
I thought
it.
I was going to go first after finishing last. You know,
I thought so too.
Reward bad behavior.
He actually is doing you a solid by last and then first.
You get back-to-back.
I like it. I like it. All right, here's how the scoring system is going to work for our draft here. You get 1 point for every team win, 3 points for a ranked opponent win. Now, that is going to be at the time the game is played, not based on the preseason top 25. 5 points for winning the conference title. 7 points for winning a playoff berth. All right, Matty, you're up. First pick.
Oh, my God.
Who's it going to be? Who's it going to be? First pick.
Give me Ohio State.
Wow.
He did it. Let's go.
Wow.
The guys. Let's go.
First pick in your draft.
Before we get into it, because you said the magic word, time now to take a look at the team to watch presented by Amazon Business. We are going to look in depth at this Ohio State team. But, Matty, why Ohio State #1 in your draft here?
Let me think here. Well, hey, if they can't put it together this year, then they're never going to put it together. Right. That's why. This is, if Michigan was the team of destiny a year ago, then Ohio State is the team of destiny in the Big Ten this year. I really do believe that. I feel like with Chip Kelly as the offensive coordinator, there's no more excuses for Ryan Day. The offense is going to be explosive. I was watching UCLA's offense, right, from a year ago. I got to tell you, people are open everywhere.
Yeah.
Okay? Will Howard is going to ball out. Any of the quarterbacks who play in this offense.
Up-tempo?
Up-tempo, for sure. And not only that, too, but, like, you know, this young freshman receiver. Oh
Jeremiah Smith.
Jeremiah. Okay, America, get used to this young man because he is going to replace Marvin Harrison and be an explosive playmaker from day one. And not only that, too, I think a very favorable schedule throughout the year, right, that they can manage. The defense has a lot of returning players. Sawyer is back. JT Tuamalo is back at the defensive end position. I feel like they'll be really good at just getting after the quarterback more consistently than they were a year ago. And, yeah, I just really don't think that there's anyone that can get in their way, right, from the success they want to have this year.
I mean, the defense returns 10.
It's silly.
14 players who saw 300-plus snaps. And then we're looking over here at the top returners. Travion Henderson, he's highlighted. But don't forget about Quinshawn Judkins, who they brought in from Ole Miss. Just a dynamic running back.
What about safety, though, too? Oh, yeah, hey, we just bring in the best safety in the country, too.
Secondary is unfair.
Caleb Downs is awesome. So I am just super excited. This is the most well-rounded roster, I think, in all of college football.
They allowed 146 points all year last year.
Yeah.
Amazing. All year.
And, I mean, if you really think about it, other than Alabama, right, they played the national champion better than anybody, right? They made them work the hardest throughout the football season, throughout the game. So I really do have just the utmost faith that this Ohio State team, right, is really just that team that's going to come together and just big chip on their shoulder, Ryan Day knows that he has to prove
Yeah.
it. Beat Michigan.
Bottom line, though, beat Michigan.
Yeah, and
all
that-
anybody's
that-
going to care
that-
about is
that's-
that
that's
game
true.
this year, right?
That's
true.
a part
Yeah.
of their main goals this season. It's going to be beat Michigan. And then I just want to give a shout out to the YouTube group chat because I am looking in there. And one of them just said Nebraska might upset Ohio. We'll have to see, though. I find that really interesting. We will come back to that. At some point in the show, we'll talk about Nebraska.
Send your
We'll
address.
see.
I'll send you a package of $1,000, like right there in the
If
mail,
that
man.
actually happens.
Yeah. I'll send you a cashier's check.
But I want to go back to Ohio State real quick and Michigan because I think what Ohio State is doing is taking a page out of Michigan's book here.
How so?
Yeah.
They're going to go into the running game a lot more. Will Howard is a huge quarterback who runs the ball. The thing about Kyle McCord, he's more of a pocket QB, being able to stretch the field and throw the ball. Obviously, got to Marvin Harrison Jr. quite a bit.
Yeah.
But at Kansas State, he made plays with his legs. And Chip Kelly, what is he known for? Being able to create dynamic runs with the quarterback.
Yeah.
And if he has that in the running game with Will Howard, and then you got Emeka Ibuka, you got this freshman wide receiver, Jeremiah Smith, you got these two running backs who
Trayvon
are
Henderson
just straight
is not
up
that bad,
dogs.
you know?
I think they're going to be running the ball a lot like Michigan, and they might
I
even
do.
have some games where they throw the ball maybe once or twice in the first half or second
Well,
half.
I'm excited for them, too, because I feel like that with Chip Kelly as the offensive coordinator, they're going to have a great mesh of, like, the finesse also with the physicality. And I think that's something they had trouble kind of meshing a year ago. They really didn't have a great identity offensively. You know, injuries at the running back position absolutely hurt and devastated their offense throughout the season. But I think Will Howard, his ability to throw outside the numbers consistently, too. Like, you go back to that Texas game, there's a lot of big, powerful throws outside the numbers against a really good Texas secondary.
Right.
And he really just made them look super easy. And then you're right, like his movement and his athleticism in the pocket, his ability to be just big and strong in the pocket, too, in the Big Ten. I just think they got all the things, like the stars are aligning for them to be successful this year.
A lot of people are saying championship or bust. Ryan Day is 56-8.
Yeah.
In his 5 years at Ohio State.
too
3
bad.
of those losses obviously coming to Michigan. All right, so Skubie decided to pick second in our draft.
Yep,
So who are you going with for the second overall pick?
I
we go.
will say, I thought you were going to go Georgia, and I would safely pick up Ohio State. But when it comes down to points, why not take Georgia? Because this team
Sing it,
is
Ray.
coming, right, I had to sing that thing. They're coming with a vengeance this year. Carson Beck, to me, is the Heisman favorite. Just after what he did last season at the position, being able to lead this team the way he did after
awesome.
Stetson Bennett was gone, I thought it was really impressive. They do have a difficult schedule, having to go to Texas, Alabama, Ole Miss, and Tennessee. But let's just be real. They filled all the gaps that they needed to with the departures they had in the NFL draft, right? At the tight end position, Brock Bowers is gone. So what do? We bring in Trevor Etienne. We bring in some transfers in the portal at the
Yep.
wide receiver position so we can bolster that up. This offensive line, according to some reports, this is one of the best offensive line that Kirby Smart has had at Georgia. So you're able to protect Beck. You expect him to take a step forward. You got this dynamic running back who's going to have a better offensive line, and you brought in better weapons at wide receiver, one of the best groups they've had in quite some time at Georgia. I think they're going to have a great year.
Colby Young, fantastic football player from Miami, you know, adding him to that skill group as well. And then also, too, just, you know, I think big picture-wise, what do we believe in? Nick Saban, we always believed in him. No matter what his roster looked like, he was going to get it done. I have that same feeling about Kirby. You know, I really do. I think when it comes down to it, he is just going to prepare his team as good as anybody.
Yeah.
And he's going to get his guys ready to go no matter what.
Just a quick reminder, we had 3 points for ranked wins. Georgia plays a ton of ranked opponents
doubt.
this year, so
Yeah.
that's a good pick by
and
Skubie.
Ohio State does not.
That's true.
They might win the whole thing, though.
We'll
I
see.
do like them to win.
Yeah.
So I am picking third overall, and I get the first pick in the second round.
Okay.
So I get the next 2 picks here. I am not going chalk here. I'm going to leave Dan Lanning on the board. And I'm going with Texas as my first pick.
All right.
Tejas, I like him.
Coach Sark has not gotten nearly enough credit for getting this team SEC ready in 3 years, from going 5-7 2 years ago to 12-2 last year, a near comeback in the Sugar Bowl last year. They just came up short. You know, Texas had one 10-win season from 2010 to 2022.
That's amazing.
It's fascinating, and they have not been good. And now comes Coach Sark. They get Quinn Ewers back. The offense that produced 36 points per game gets their quarterback back now. Of course, they did lose, some players to the draft, obviously. They had to replace 5 players at the skill positions. Their schedule is not terribly tough, I don't think, in the first year in the SEC.
No, they got a very favorable SEC schedule.
The 1-2 punch of C.J. Baxter and Jaden Blue was going to be awesome. That gives me some pause.
That's
but
trouble,
I think Jaden Blue.
That's trouble.
I think Jaden Blue has proven to be a good back.
I do want to talk about this real quick, though, because I don't think people understand the difficulty that Texas is going to face from transferring from the Big 12 over to the SEC. Yes, they have 4 returning offensive linemen, but they're going from seeing a 3-3-5 defense to something completely different in the SEC. Matt, I'm going to let you cook on that and explain to everybody what is the difference between a 3-3-5 and the defenses that they're going to be seeing in the SEC and why it's difficult?
Let's not get into the schematics too much. Let's just say Texas. It's like nothing you've ever seen before, man. Welcome to the SEC. Every week.
Yeah.
It's a pain.
Yeah.
It's a lot. And it's hard to get motivated every week and be like, oh, hey, let's go, man. You know, we got another big one. You know, it's just not real. Sometimes you really just can't have your best week in and week out. So the SEC, it's just like, it's a bloodbath and then some, man. You know, and really that's the thing that really is concerning me about Texas. Let's go through the list right now. Jonathan Brooks, Xavier Worthy, Adonai Mitchell, Jatavion Sanders, Byron Murphy, Tavondre Sweat, Jalen Ford.
Okay, but hold on.
These are huge, impactful football players.
Okay, but I'm okay with getting Isaiah Bond, Silas Bolden.
I understand, but he's not Xavier Worthy and Adonai Mitchell.
Amari Niblack's one of the fastest players in the.
I agree. I do like that one a lot. I was really excited about that one. I can't lie. I was like, damn, I'm really pumped for Amari because I think he's a phenomenal football player.
Right. Okay. So I'm going Texas there.
Yeah.
Ready for another surprise pick?
Let's go.
Oh, what are you doing?
You going down to
What are we
UConn?
doing?
You going to UConn?
Utah.
Oh, good for you.
Hey, yo, chat.
Good
YouTube
for
chat.
you.
This is his second pick in the draft. He skipped all those other teams. Come on, hold on. I got to.
Utah.
This is one where I have to go up on the board.
All right.
My boy scrolled by all these teams to draft Utah.
That's right.
That's what we're doing, Sam.
Are you ready? You ready for the explanation? Utah's going to be undefeated at home.
Okay.
They have an easy schedule, an easy Big 12 schedule. I think they will be at least playing for a Big 12 title. Remember, we got 5 points for a conference championship.
You believe
7 points for a playoff.
Dr. Cam Rising.
I believe in Cam Rising in his 7th year.
7th, yeah.
Should stay healthy.
Just short of a decade.
Yep. They're probably the most injured team in the country last year. They had defensive players playing on offense last year.
That's the key, though. They play awesome defense.
They do.
They really do.
And that's the difference maker, I think, in the Big 12 this year is going to be their defense. They allowed just over 300 yards per game last season, 83 rush yards per game. And that's going to be even better this year. So that's why.
And why is that going to be better this year, though? Because of Cam Rising?
No. They brought in some good transfers.
Yeah, they did.
The one thing that Utah can rely on under Coach Witt is always their defense and their ability to get to the quarterback. I think they had 36 sacks last year.
Yep.
They've had over 30, I think, for a long time, maybe the last decade. So that part is just a stagnant.
No, you're right. I mean, you know, the third down conversion, 29th. They were 8th in the country. Yards per game, 13th. Right. Rush yards per game, 4th. Right. So like they were doing some really good things defensively. And the big note that I made here in bold, pretty easy schedule on paper right now. You know, Oklahoma State and Arizona are really the 2 ranked opponents that they have preseason to go against. And Arizona, new coaching staff, whole new regime going there. And then Oklahoma State with Mike Gundy. I mean, like,
that's a toss-up.
That's always like a mystery box as far as what we're going to get.
Right. So I'm already way ahead of the board here. I'm playing chess. You guys are playing checkers.
I'm surprised this is where you went, man.
Hold on. A reminder.
It actually threw me off a little.
Reminder for the YouTube audience. We are not picking the 12-team playoff. We are picking and drafting teams that fit our criteria. So just a clarification there.
Yep.
But nevertheless, good teams generally win games. So, Skubie, you are up.
But you threw a little curveball at me there, Sam. But, you know, that took away the anxiety from me. It's going to make it easy. You guys just making it easy for me. Why can't I just take these teams? Let me get the Ducks, man. Oregon is going to be my second pick.
Okay.
And you got to love what they have in the transfer portal. You get Dillon Gabriel to come over there, a guy who's absolutely been tearing it up at Oklahoma, especially last season, and he has the opportunity to become the all-time leader in college football for passing yards. And then you already have that dynamic defense. Dan Lanning has established a really good culture over there on the defensive side of the ball. And then you talk about the things that they were able to do last year, establish that culture of winning. This year, they are in the Big Ten. This year, they will have some tough games. But I feel like they're ready for the moment. And Oregon, if it isn't Ohio State, they're going to be the one to win the Big Ten.
Obviously, you circle that game when Ohio State comes to town. Yeah. That's a big one. You look at their schedule here, another super manageable schedule. Look, they end the season with 3 straight games at home this year before getting Michigan on the road. So this is a very manageable schedule for Coach Lanning in his first year, I think, in the Big Ten.
It definitely is. And Tez Johnson returns. Jordan James at the running back position returns, right? So that's a big thing, too, for them. Terrence Ferguson, another good player at tight end for them, returns. And then, Dillon Gabriel, I think, is just, one of those very underrated football players that I think is just such a fantastic leader and such a great football player.
That wide receiver.
Do you think he fits?
This is the other one that is sneaky really big, too. Jabbar Muhammad. Really think very highly of this young man and his ability to be a lockdown corner for them when they need him, especially in some of these big games in conference. So I think they did a great job in the transfer portal. And you're right, like Dan Lanning just kind of got the pulse of the team and just what they need to do to be successful.
Real quick on Gabriel, does he fit this system actually better than he did at Oklahoma, you think?
You know what, that's a great point, Sam, and I really do think that he does. I really do. I think that he's a great decision maker, right? I actually think that he can scramble just as well as Bo Nix and actually kind of looks to scramble.
Yes, he does.
Right, more so than Bo did. But Will Stein, I think, is going to be able to develop an awesome passing attack for Dillon Gabriel to really utilize his skill set. And although being an undersized guy, still throws the ball down the field very well.
Okay, awesome. Maddie, you're up next.
Oh, my God. The pressure is mounting.
Here's what we got. Here's what you're looking at.
Hey, I'm going to throw a curveball out here, okay?
Okay,
I'm going to go with somebody really interesting, okay? And I don't want to do it, but I'm going to do it.
Do it.
Okay?
Do it.
Hey, Lane Kiffin. If you're going to do something, bro.
The time is now, brother.
The time is now. Give me the Rebels.
That's a good pick. I like that pick.
So I'm going with the Ole Miss Rebels. And really, it's not because they play defense, because they don't. All right? They don't play defense. But I love the offense. I love Jackson Dart. He is another Heisman hopeful along with Carson Beck that I think is going to have a phenomenal year. The Bentley comes back at running back. Although they lose Quinshon Judkins, I still think that Bentley can hold it as far as doing that. Walter Nolan, the transfer to Texas A&M. That's a big one. Chris Paul, the transfer from Arkansas. Isaiah Hamilton, the transfer from Houston. So they did a great job in the transfer portal, like helping the defensive side of the football. And I really do believe that just the skill group of Trey Harris, Trey Washington, they got enough guys on this roster to get it done.
Here's reason to believe even more that schedule. This is a very manageable schedule in the SEC. Lane Kiffin doesn't get nearly enough credit for the job that he has done as a football coach. Last year was actually Ole Miss's first ever season with 11 wins as a program.
Wow. It really is.
Which is amazing. And everyone, I think, just kind of assumes, well, it's Ole Miss. It's a big SEC name school. It should be easy to win. That just hasn't been the case. So I think he gets a ton of credit.
And like you said earlier, too, a favorable SEC schedule if that exists, right? So October 12th, LSU. Can't wait for October 12th, by the way. That's like the greatest day in all of college football.
Right.
Literally. And then October 26th, they got Oklahoma. November 9th, Georgia. And then November 23rd, they end at Florida, right? So it's like, I think they really do have the pieces in place to score more points than all the teams that they're seeing there, right? Because I know that they're not going to defend that consistently, right? I haven't seen it enough, but that's what I hope for Lane Kiffin. And rest in peace, Monty Kiffin, too, as well. One of the GOATs ever, too. At the
number one transfer portal class in the country. Lane Kiffin.
Yeah,
no question. They went to work over there.
This is it. Got to do it.
All right, we got to go rapid fire here. So we're through the first 2 rounds. Maddie, you are up next in our snake, so you pick the next pick.
Okay, all right. I'm going to go with one that, again, it makes me cringe to pick this football team right now. All right, you know why. Give me Notre Dame.
Okay.
Oh, you did it. He was not talking nicely about them before the show.
Listen.
And you draft them first.
I'm twitching over here right now. I don't like it, all right? But I just think that Freeman did another great job again in the transfer portal, right? They got Bo Collins in there, right? They also added Chris Mitchell as well from Florida International. He is going to be a big playmaker for them. Offensively, Riley Leonard, not quite sure if I'm really buying it yet, but I believe in Al Golden in this defense. And again, the schedule, Texas A&M, Louisville, USC, like these are all really winnable football games for them. And not only that, but like to put on a show potentially with the skill group that they've added.
Their schedule, again, is they should be undefeated at least going into that Louisville game. I'd imagine even going further into the Florida State game.
And the problem is here is that not a lot of ranked opponents.
No.
Right? So for me, as far as our concept here, not great, but I do expect them to be in the playoff because of that.
I mean, Riley Leonard can definitely take that next step. That Mike Denbrock addition as an offensive coordinator.
That's the big one.
The guy who worked with Jaden Daniels last year, helped him develop, take a huge step forward from where he was the year before. Riley Leonard is a very similar playing style towards Jaden Daniels. Okay, I'm up next here, right?
Skub, yep.
Okay, scroll down a little bit. Who we got? Scroll up. I am going to go with Bama. Roll Tide. I mean, you guys just keep on putting this right in my plate.
Yeah.
I can't say no. The thing about drafting, you take value, what is there. And the Alabama Crimson Tide are still that team. You bring in Kalen DeBoer, yes. Nick Saban is no longer there, but Kalen DeBoer has done nothing but win over his last 2 seasons at Washington. He was 25-3, and those 25 wins, the best that he was against was the best teams. 12-2 against AP-ranked opponents in his career. This is a coach who knows how to motivate and knows how to get everybody on the right page, right? Last season, we talked about coaches being great coaches of coaches, right?
Yeah.
And he kept the same coaching staff that Nick Saban had. And then you have Jalen Milroe still there. I think he can take that next step in his development. They went and got some help at the cornerback position because that is kind of where they're going to struggle. That's where the weaknesses are.
Got Keon Sabo from Michigan, another
exactly.
Really good
So they tried to reload over there, but I like where Alabama is, and they had some departures. The Caleb Downs, Julian Sayin, backup quarterback.
Look at that list
I mean,
of players.
It hurts. They
It's
lost
amazing.
a lot of players.
That's an NFL team right there.
No, yeah, you're right. They are playing on Sundays right now, and that's the biggest one. Really is Nick. It's just it's big shoes to fill. It really is. It's a new environment, everything going on. I really look forward to seeing what Nick Sheridan does as the offensive coordinator there. First time being a play caller, right, for this team. You know, how does he mix in Jalen Milroe's athleticism with his developed passing game that he showed late in the year? He definitely needs to continue to improve that aspect of his game. We even saw versus Michigan. Like, Michigan was one of the first teams that could really push them around, and he kind of reverted back to, like, scramble mode again.
Yeah, it's so true, especially at the end of the game.
Yeah, he's got to, they got to fine-tune his skill set and kind of be able to mix and match the athleticism, but then also, too, the drop-back passing, which made Kalen DeBoer get this opportunity in the first place.
Okay, Skubie and Alabama. I'm going to go quick with Florida State.
Florida State.
Revenge tour for Florida State this year after missing out, going the perfect 13-0. I mean, look, and by the way, this pick could be over by the end of this weekend because they go to Ireland to play Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of you don't know what you're getting there. But obviously you lose crucial guys on the outside. Keon Coleman's gone, Johnny Wilson's gone, Trey Benson also, the running back, Jaheim Bell is gone. So replacing some of that production, and obviously Jordan Travis is gone. The question mark here is how does DJU fit in this system under Norvell? Can he continue to keep the offense up? I don't have a ton of questions on the defense. Patrick Payton, the 2022 ACC Rookie Defensive Player of the Year, returns those 14.5 tackles for loss, 7 sacks, 10 pass breakups too. So I like this team. Look, Florida State, everything going on too off the field, I don't think is talked about a ton. I don't know how much the players know about what's going on off the field with everything in their own conference.
The vibes are a little bit weird.
So it's a little bit strange, but I like their schedule, and I think they can at least get me to an ACC title game.
Yeah, the season can't come fast enough for them with the way that it ended.
Right,
So
no
I know
question.
that, but it also starts with a tough matchup for them too, especially with the new quarterback.
And just to close off Florida State, Mike Norvell at ACC Media Day said he feels like this is one of the best defenses that he has had. They have depth and they have the players that they need. And I think something we all need to consider for this season for every single team is the goal is 16 games.
Yeah.
So if you don't have good depth, you're in a bad position.
No doubt.
All right, I'm picking next. First pick in the 4th round, Penn State.
Penn State, okay.
First off, the
That's where we're going.
12-team playoff was made for Penn State.
Literally.
It was made for Penn State.
Notre Dame and then Penn State.
But I think Drew Aller takes the next step. Maddie, you could talk to this. You talk to NFL scouts. They are very high on Drew Aller still. They think that he can progress and be that next quarterback at the top level.
Yeah, I mean, he's got all the measurables and he's got the prototypical look, but I still need to see it, you know?
Just because you look like it, don't mean you're going to play like it.
Just because the NFL guys said it doesn't mean that it's right. They've been wrong a lot in their history, but, the biggest thing is just
they get Ohio State at home. That's their game this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's their toughest game.
Right.
Ohio State at home. They play the bottom half of the Big Ten. The trip out to USC,
No Oregon or Michigan on their schedule. The trip out to USC is weird.
You're taking Paul Feinbaum's thought on USC there? Yeah, I understand. I get it. I mean, listen, Drew Aller, he's got all the talent in the world. The biggest thing, too, is just like with the new offense, though, they're running Kansas's offense. How is that going to match?
I like Andy Kotelnicki. I thought he did a great job.
I think he's great too, but also too to be introduced to this Big Ten world. It's just like, does it match, and is it going to match in year one with this quarterback?
Key addition that they got there, if you missed on the screen, Julian Fleming from Ohio State.
Yeah.
One of the best receivers coming out of high school in his class. That will be huge for them to create more explosive plays, because that was the problem with Penn State last year, right?
Consistency.
They just could not create explosive plays. All right, so I'm next up here.
What do you got, Scoob? What do you got? You want me to scroll for you?
Scroll down a little bit for me. You know what?
A lot of good football teams there, Scoob.
Yep.
A lot of good football teams. Oh, I know what you're going to do.
I am going to go.
Do it. You
with Miami.
I knew it.
Miami, baby.
I knew it.
It's all about the U.
The U is back. You had Cam Ward come into that onto that team, and now he's playing under center. I mean, he was responsible for over 70% of Washington State's offense when he was there those last couple of years. And then you get some key players like Damian Martinez coming in from Oregon State.
Tell me about it.
He is a bruiser back. You just saw him on the tape. And then he already has two solid receiver top with Xavier Restrepo. And then their schedule is favorable, in my opinion, when you look at how it's set up. They really don't have any eye-popping matchups. Obviously, that Florida game is going to be huge, and I think it's going to be their coming out party, their chance to show everybody that they're here. But you got Kobe George there, Damian Martinez, Xavier Restrepo. This Miami team, it is their year to finally do something, because you have all the weapons. You hit the transfer portal hard, and now you can finally make some noise. This is Mario Cristobal's last chance.
No doubt. Yeah, it's his swan song for sure, and he's got 5 guys that transferred in for the defensive side of the football too, so adding depth to the defensive side is definitely big for Miami. All right, for number 4.
What do you got, Matt?
Your boy Matty Sims is going with the Oklahoma State Cowboys.
I like it.
Why is that? Because they don't play anybody, all right? That's why. But they play number 12 Utah. They play number 18 Kansas State.
Which is at home, by the way.
Which is at home, right? So I like that matchup a lot. Gundy, man, 20 years. 20 years with that mullet over there at Oklahoma State. It's unbelievable. The thing that I really like, too, about this team is that, like, they're starting to just – Alan Bowman, a ton of experience. Another 7-year guy. Yep, another 7-year guy, right? Ollie Gordon, I mean, his ability to just run the football at will. Rashad Owens, Brennan Presley, like, all these guys are returning for this football team with a – average schedule, right, overall. I mean, look at that schedule. That's pretty favorable, man.
Yeah.
I mean, Kansas State again. We'll see what West Virginia is this year, right? Baylor, can they get back on track? Arizona State, can they get back on track? We'll see. But a lot of favorable matchups for Oklahoma State there. Experienced quarterback, fantastic running back, good skill group surrounding around him. Gundy seems to figure it out no matter what. And that's what I really like about this Oak State, right? Very favorable schedule.
Defensively, I just
they're awful.
I just need to see more.
No, they're awful. See, they're the team that goes to the playoff and then loses by 50, right? Because they don't play defense.
But you will get 7 points in our draft if they are going to the college football playoff.
Absolutely right, Captain.
Here are our sleeper picks. Now, the only qualification here is they have to be ranked currently outside the top 25.
Let's do it.
All right, I will start. I am going with the Louisville Cardinals.
Oh,
Louisville and Jeff Brom ahead of schedule in year one.
Yeah.
They were in the playoff conversation heading into the final week of the regular season last year, and then
Yes.
Kentucky showed up, and that kind of started a spell of losing 3 straight games to end the year. But
Oh, man.
I think Coach Brom and his track record, he will figure the offense out. He hit the portal hard this year. They brought in 31 transfers. I don't think people talk enough about Brom as one of the portal kings of this new era of college
Just
football.
one of the great offensive minds in football right now as well.
No question. They get Miami transfer Donald Chaney to try and help out that run game. Remember Jawar Jordan and Isaac Guerrero last year? They kind of controlled the run game.
Yeah.
I think if Tyler Shuck can stay healthy, that's probably the biggest question, because you get Jack Plummer in there last year. They relied a lot upon him. Shuck has had some injuries in the past, so I'm going to go with Louisville here as a potential in a up and down ACC as a sleeper. So,
All right, like it.
Scoob, you're up next.
All right. So, guys, in the last 28 of the last 30 seasons, there has been at least one team unranked ending up in the top 10 towards the end of the season. So we say that one of these teams outside the top 25 can definitely get up in there. But I'm going to go with Nebraska as my sleeper.
What?
This is
Get out of here, Skubie.
Matt Rule's
Get outta here.
second year with the team. And he always tends to make a huge leap and improvement with the team in his second or third year. We
Here are the
saw that
highlights.
when he was at Baylor. And now he's got Dylan Raiola, the top QB recruit in the country, being the starter this season. Yes, I know
does
he's
look
a
awesome.
freshman.
He looks awesome.
He's going to make some freshman mistakes, but he has so much talent. And Matt Rule is a guy that's definitely able to develop that type of talent. They are favored to win the first 7 games of the season until they travel to Ohio State. I like Nebraska, what they're building. I don't know if you saw those speeches that Matt Rule has been given at halftime on social media. They used to make me want to run through a wall. So those players are going to play for their coach. Nebraska sleeper pick.
College football is better when Nebraska is good. So go ahead, Matt.
Definitely. All right, I'll be quick, right? Everyone's telling me to rush, all right? I mean, meanwhile, Scoop can give this great thing, all right? No, I'm kidding. So, Liberty Flames, baby. Liberty Bibbity.
Liberty Bibbity.
The Liberty Bibbity Flames.
Liberty.
Okay. Caden Salter is the quarterback returning, right? He does it through the air. He does it on the ground. All the skill guys are returning, right? I think just Conference USA, super easy schedule for them. They really don't play anyone that really is like a huge threat to them. I think athletically, they really do match up extremely well versus all of those teams. And this could definitely be a college football playoff team, right, that makes it as that 12 spot and really just causes a little stir, because I think their schedule is manageable. Their quarterback makes big plays, and they're a pretty aggressive offense. It's spread out. Returning running back that rush for over 1,000 yards. Good things happen for the teams that do that.
These are your sleepers, ladies and gentlemen.
And this is your draft. This is the College Football Show draft. It has been completed. You let us know in the YouTube chat who you think has the best team going forward. Now, again, we have certain criteria that we're trying to meet here, so that's why I kind of went with some variety as far as conferences go. But
my team looks really ugly.
But we also heard from you guys in the chat that you wanted to hear a little bit more about the Texas Longhorns this year. That's who they wanted to hear more about.
Okay.
So we're going to talk a little bit more about this Texas team.
Yeah.
And I asked this question here: Texas going into the SEC, year one, it appeared that they were ready last year. What is a successful season for Coach Sark and Texas year one in the SEC, Maddie?
Year one, I mean, what's realistic, right, is just like
because they lost a ton.
A 9 or 10 win season, right?
Yeah.
Right. But what does Texas expect? Right? They expect to be in the SEC championship game. Right.
Okay.
Now, is that possible? Of course it is, because I do believe in Sark as a play caller. I do think Quinn Ewers will be that much more right as far as comfortable in the position of being the guy. But I still am just a little concerned with replacing all of the offensive talent, and also, too, the size and physicality of guys like Murphy and Sweat in the interior. Do they have the playmakers? No doubt, right? They do. I mean, Ethan Burke, very good football player. Anthony Hill, the middle linebacker, another good football player, right? And they can do it, but
some fun games on that schedule.
It's a lot, though.
Michigan,
right? And again, a favorable SEC schedule.
I will say this:
the most favorable, honestly, in the
first and 10 from the 12-yard line against Washington. They had 4 chances to get it in, and they couldn't do it. This team is hungrier than any other team, in my opinion, of just trying to get there. Maybe Georgia is just about as hungry as they are.
Right.
But Quinn Ewers this year has taken leaps from the reports coming out in terms of being a leader. He wanted to come back when he could have gone to the NFL draft and been a first-round pick because he wanted to get 25.
Slow down there.
I'm just going to toss that out there. But besides the fact, he wanted to get 25 games under his experience because that's what scouts ask for. And Steve Sarkisian had a comment saying just recently Quinn directed a players-only meeting, which isn't something that you see often for him. So one, what that tells me is Quinn is trying to be more of a leader, understanding the magnitude of being in the SEC. And two, he's grown and developed as a player, maturity-wise. He cut off the mullet. He's definitely gained more weight, muscle-wise, and become slimmer. And this is going to be a big year for him.
He's going to have a great year, I think. I think he's going to put up great numbers. That's never going to be my problem with them. But the lack of production from the running back room, potentially, right, with the injuries, that's concerning to me.
How about defending the pass this year?
Defending the pass, you know, when I was watching them on film, it's like, bro, they leave. You know, their corners, I think, are good football players. They leave them on islands way too much. There's too much quarters coverage where they're getting exposed by simple pass concepts. And for a team that has the talent that they have, I feel like they rely on winning too many shootouts. You know, and that's what's concerning for me, too. You know, again, favorable schedule. Maybe it plays into their hands a little bit more. But, you know, running back injuries, the lack of the size and physicality in the interior, you know, it's just big question marks to be filled there.
Murphy is gone. Sweat is gone on the defensive line.
Fantastic players.
And I don't know why I'm picking holes in this Texas team because I picked them on my
number one, baby.
I'm picking number one. So I think they will improve. By the way, Texas has the second shortest odds to win the SEC this year. The last time that a school won their conference title, the Power Five, in their first year, Virginia Tech.
Wow.
In the ACC back in 2004.
It's not happening this year.
The Hokies.
That's high expectations
because they're on my teams.
in Texas this year. So we'll see how things pan out for them. BD, do we have the poll here? Because we asked you guys in the YouTube chat to let us know what you thought about our teams.
Let us know.
And I'm being told Skubie was number one.
Okay.
Matt was number two.
Oh.
And I must have been like a close.
We're back in regular season.
Back in regular
season 4.
You know, when you picked Penn State, everyone's like, nope, not that one, not that guy. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, listen, Skubie definitely, like, if we were stacking teams versus teams here, you know, bodies versus bodies, Skubie's got the best one for sure, right? As far as top-down rosters.
I don't think you guys paid attention to the rules.
I went strategy a little bit, too, for just, like, I actually think all 5 of my teams can make it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the official start of the college football season is just around the corner. What a beautiful sight that is. A lot of question marks in week 1 games. How does Alabama look without Nick Saban? Miami, Florida, 2 coaches on the hot seat there. One of their seats is going to get even hotter after that game. LSU, USC, 2 teams with serious question marks on the defensive side. That'll be at 7:30 Eastern time in Vegas. Riley Leonard facing off against his former coach, Mike Elko, who's now over at Texas A&M. So a great slate for week 1, but the highlights of week 1 is going to be Georgia and Clemson. So let's go into the film room with Matt Sims. He is back better than ever.
Let's do it!
And he is ready to go. So Georgia 12-0 last year, Matty, right? Went to the SEC title game. They lost to Alabama.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
Right, they're pretty good. Carson Beck got kind of lost in the shuffle with all the QBs last year, but he put together one of the best seasons of any quarterback that played at Georgia. What did you like about him when you saw the film?
Well, I mean, the dude's a stud. That's what it is, man. I mean, this guy is right now, hey, no secret here, my Heisman favorite right there, brother.
Wow.
He just does it all, man. You see how he's getting a private jet commercial going now, too, man. So dude is doing really well in NIL. He's doing better than us, that's for sure.
That's for sure.
But we are going to see a lot of plays this year that display all the experience that he got a year ago. The only difference is that these 2 cats right here, Brock Bowers, McConkey, they're gone.
Yeah.
So now how does this offense with Mike Bobo, how do they replace such great production? But here we're going to start right here with this great play that they got, right? Auburn, this was a tough battle all day. They came out of this game really lucky with the victory. We're going to see a little drop back pass protection here, right? 5-man protection. We get Ladd McConkey running a little out-breaking route versus the corner, man-to-man coverage. We got man underneath on Brock Bowers. And you're going to see that our quarterback just slides really calmly to his left, feeling that pressure, and then just throws an absolute rifle right to the sideline for a first down. And this is something that we saw consistently throughout the game, right? Great protection, great presence by Carson Beck. He knows where he wants to go with the football. And look at the route right there. McConkey breaking ankles, getting open on the sideline for an easy completion. these are things that the Georgia offense is going to miss.
Yes, and then obviously you mentioned Brock Bowers, one of his favorite targets last year. He's gone. One thing that has not changed and will not change is that offensive line protection that he'll continue to do.
The offensive line protection is absolutely phenomenal. You're going to see it here again, right? A 5-man protection. They're going to block up these 4 down linemen extremely well. And right now, you're just going to get a 4 vertical play, right? So everyone's just goes down the field. And what you're going to see is great protection and Carson making the game super simple. Who's my best player versus the worst matchup? My guy, Bowers versus a linebacker. And here he goes. Drop back, 3-step drop, nice and smooth. 1, 2, 3, shuffle, shuffle. He throws an absolute rifle over the middle. And Brock Bowers, even though he's covered, he's open, right? And that's what's so awesome about number 19. So who is going to replace that? Oscar Delp? We'll see if he can kind of hold that same water for this football team. But unbelievable throw on the back shoulder right there for a big play. And this is where Brock Bowers just went off and took over the game.
Yeah.
Here we see it from the quarterback's perspective, though. Like, just look at the pocket, man. Oh, my God. Is that beautiful right there? Look at all that beachfront property. Great slide up in the pocket. Great arm angle and throw. Threw it with power. Threw it away from the defender. Phenomenal rep right there by the quarterback.
Now, both of those plays were on 3rd down.
Yes.
Nobody in the country was better on 3rd down last year than Georgia. So Oscar Delp going to be filling in that tight end spot. We'll see how that pans out.
Absolutely.
All right, so let's go over to Clemson. Dabo Swinney has gotten fleeced for not using the transfer portal.
Look at you with your vocabulary.
And just refuses to use it.
It's been off season.
Right. But the offense and the talent is there. And Cade Klubnik, a lot of pressure on his shoulders to take that next step this year. What do you want to see from him?
Yeah, I mean, really, this game right here against Florida State, probably one of the better games that he played all year. Made unbelievable throws in the pocket, took big hits. Unfortunately, suffered the 1 sack strip fumble for a touchdown that really ultimately led to the changing of the tides in this football game. But, I mean, this guy really has all the tools at his disposal. I like Garrett Riley's offense a lot. I think they run a lot of good schematical plays. And now it really is just about building consistency.
Yeah.
Hey, limiting the fumbles. What did we say? About 22 fumbles
22
last
fumbles,
year? How many lost?
Lost 13.
Lost 13. So if we can hold on to the football a little bit more, we can give our quarterback a few more opportunities. But strong arm. He's really athletic. Want to see a little bit more of that athleticism this year. And we're going to see right here versus Florida State, one of the better teams in the country last year, played really good defense consistently throughout the year. A great concept here. We got basically like an empty formation type of attack here, right? We're going to run like a basic stick concept here on the top. And then we're going to get Will Shipley, who another missing part, went to the NFL. Now we got to find a way to replace him in the passing game especially, versus an outside leverage corner. And he does a great job of just cutting, crossing face. Cade Klubnik hits him a rhythm for the big touchdown here. And again, this is where Clemson just took the lead to make it a 17-7 game. And that's because the quarterback made a lot of good throws that get them in the red zone. The pass protection is really solid. Great throw in rhythm to their great back out of the backfield. And that's how they were efficient throughout the day versus a very stout defense.
Yeah, again, the pressure is absolutely on this Clemson team to produce.
Yeah.
And it's not all on him, though. Like, I feel like he needs some more weapons on the outside. And this was a young team last year, too, so they will continue to get older.
And it doesn't help, too, that Bo Collins, one of their best receivers
100%.
and most productive guys from a year ago, transferred and left in Notre Dame. So really, who is going to take that receiver 1 position and be the guy? Or is it just going to be a committee thing where he just has to be a great point guard?
Okay, let's go to this. 3rd and 6 here. We're in the 4th.
3rd and 6 in the 4th here. We're using Will Shipley again as a identifier for the defense, but then also, too, a little smoke and mirror. So we're going to motion him out of the backfield really quickly right before the snap. We're going to displace the linebacker underneath here and get him out of the way. And that's going to leave the middle of the field wide open, right, for Klubnik to just throw an absolute laser again over the middle on a little angle route going over the middle. Great throw, great concept, right? Great execution, protection again. And this is, again, just another thing where, like, I expect to see more of this from Garrett Riley in this offense. Spread the field out. Let him see the field even more. Put defenders in binds. We see this backer running out of here, displacing because of the motion by Shipley. And then we have the one-on-one in the slot. Breaks off the route, crosses face, great throw in rhythm, and that's what we want to see more from this Clemson offense routinely throughout the football season.
Who's got more pressure on them in this game? Obviously, Georgia losing in the SEC title game last year.
Man.
Clemson has a ton of pressure, and their season literally could be over in the first 5 games of the season because they have a tough uphill sled kind of situation there, but I don't know.
I mean, it really is. It's a great way to start the season, right, for us and college football fans. It's not a great way for, I think, the coaches and for the players to start it, but it is going to be exciting football to watch. I really expect Cade Klubnik to take another jump in his game, second year in this offense, to be more productive, to execute more consistently. And we'll see what happens, man. That's what makes this thing so fun.
You like Clemson this year, though.
Yeah, I do like Clemson. And to Matt's point, Cade Klubnik is really where you're looking at in terms of where their success is going to go. Where he goes, that's where they're going to end up going. And second year with the same offensive coordinator, you hope they figure some things out. Dabo, man, I wish you hit the transfer portal just a little bit. Dude, it is what it is.
What if he doesn't need to, though?
One of 4 teams to not get anyone in the transfer portal. The other 3, Army, Navy, and why am I blanking on the other one?
Air Force.
And Air Force. Yeah, so, I mean, there you go, right there. So, Dabo not really playing the game that everyone else is playing.
Transfers typically, right?
Yeah. They're different cats over there.
That's right.
But
No
we
question.
appreciate their service nonetheless. Thank you.
We had a great show, great draft. I think that I will do much better than I did last year at picking some of these teams to win some games. So. All right. Well, they don't have a ton of faith.
The touchscreen was back.
They don't have. Yeah.
We're back.
Right.
That's right.
And next week we're going to be back again.
That's right. We'll be back
Saturday.
every single Saturday, 8 to 9 o'clock. Set your calendar, set your time. We will be on breaking down
the best team.
The day of college football. So thank you so much for watching. We appreciate you. This was the College Football Show presented by Amazon Business. We'll see you next Saturday in Week 1.
Woo! Let's go!
It is back. College game day. Welcome home.